The story of Obed begins in a small town called Bethlehem. During the time of the Judges, a period marked by chaos and instability in Israel, Obed's life is deeply connected to one of the most touching tales in the Bible, the story of Ruth and Boaz. Naomi, a woman from Bethlehem, faced immense tragedy when a famine forced her family to move to Moab. There, her husband, Elimelech, died, leaving her with 2 sons. These sons married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, but soon after, both sons also passed away. Naomi was left bitter and broken, with only her 2 daughters-in-law by her side. Determined to return to Bethlehem, Naomi urged Ruth and Orpah to stay in Moab and start new lives. Orpah agreed, but Ruth refused, speaking words that have echoed through the ages. "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." This act of loyalty marked the beginning of Ruth's remarkable journey to becoming part of God's redemptive plan. When Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem, they were poor and vulnerable. To provide for them, Ruth went to glean in the fields during the barley harvest. By divine providence, she found herself in the fields of Boaz, a wealthy and kind man who happened to be a relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed Ruth's hard work and kindness toward Naomi. He ensured her safety in his fields and allowed her to glean more than what was customary. Naomi, recognizing Boaz as a potential kinsman redeemer, a relative who could restore their family's name and property, instructed Ruth to approach Boaz and request his protection. Moved by Ruth's integrity and faith, Boaz agreed to redeem her, but there was a legal complication. Another relative was closer in line to redeem Naomi's land and marry Ruth. In a public meeting at the city gate, Boaz negotiated with this relative, who ultimately declined, paving the way for Boaz to marry Ruth. Their union was not just a marriage, it was a divine appointment. Ruth, the Moabite widow, became the wife of Boaz, a man of noble character. Ruth and Boaz were blessed with a son, whom they named Obed. His birth was celebrated not only by his family but also by the women of Bethlehem, who rejoiced with Naomi, saying, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel." Naomi, once bitter and broken, now cradled her grandson, filled with joy and hope. Obed became a symbol of restoration and God's faithfulness. He was not just a blessing to Ruth and Naomi but to the entire lineage of Israel. Obed grew up in Bethlehem, likely inheriting the values of faith, loyalty, and kindness from his parents and grandmother. Though the Bible does not detail his life, Obed's significance lies in his role as the father of Jesse and the grandfather of King David, Israel's greatest king. Through David, the lineage of Obed ultimately led to the birth of Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world, fulfilling God's promise to bless all nations through Abraham's descendants. The story of Obed is more than a historical account. It's a message of hope, redemption, and the unfolding of God's eternal plan. Through the life of this seemingly ordinary child, God prepared the way for extraordinary things.